How we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, and welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk a little bit more about logging and how you can not only level your logging at a reasonable speed, but also make it profitable whilst you do it. I've spent a little bit of time playing around with a few things in game, and I've come to realize that getting as much luck on your gear is going to be super beneficial for any of you out there that is gathering. It's kind of gone under the radar a little bit because most people don't really know exactly how it works, but I've done some testing and this is definitely the way to go. What do I mean though with luck? Let's take a little look at the character though. I've been doing some logging and I've found myself a bunch of lumberjack gear. I have now a piece of lumberjack gear in every single slot. It's this lumberjack gear that not only stacks your constitution really high, but also has the reinforced logging luck perk. Now, many of you might have seen this on the tools. The tools have a logging luck. So my star metal logging axe, for example, has a 6.2% chance at finding rare items. Most people have seen what this does, but unfortunately having it just on your tool is probably not enough. A 6.2% chance of finding a rare item is great, right? But, you know, you still might need to chop down 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 weirdwood or ironwood trees before you even get a single proc from this. So we got to stack this as high as possible. This is where the lumberjack gear comes into play. If you equip yourself a full set of it, you can really push that luck up high. And I even went out and found a little amulet that has adored logging luck on it. If you are looking in the trade post, make sure you search for these perks specifically. I had to do a little bit of traveling around to get the pieces that I needed because not every city had, all of the items. And if they did, you want to buy them as cheap as possible. If you're going to invest in your character, you want to obviously save those pennies. You may notice that I've got nearly no coin at the moment, and that's because I've invested pretty heavily. But this will all pay off. Do not worry. You'll see some results a little bit later as to what you can get by stacking all of this luck, and you'll be pleasantly surprised, I hope. But there's also a few other things that you can do to increase your luck when you're going out and doing logging. The trade skill food is a massive buff. Increases your luck by logging by a certain amount for a certain amount of time. There are 5 tiers of this. I've chosen to use the mid tier, tier 3. It only requires you to be level 20. It gives you 1700 logging luck and it lasts 30 minutes. After 30 minutes of logging, my bags are pretty chock-a-block and I want to dump them off and empty them out anyway. Obviously, as we get leveled up even further and get some bigger bags, then I might be able to stay out in the wild a little bit longer. But for the moment, the herb roast cabbage giving me 1700 luck for half an hour is pretty good. But you may have also noticed that I'm in my house. I have purchased a house, yes. We have picked up our first house. I have not decorated yet. Please forgive me. I'm living like a slob right now. But getting your first house unlocks these little things. The trophies. These trophies are really beneficial to you as well. You can see each house has 5 trophy slots in it. And eventually, by the time you level up to 60, you can actually have 3 houses. And all these trophies do stack, yes. Now, you can only have one of each, one of the same type in each house. But you can see here, I've also put a minor logging gathering trophy in my house, which grants a small bonus when using a logging axe in the wild. If eventually I end up with 3 houses, I could have 3 of these, and the minor one is only the first stage of 3. I think there's a minor, a basic, and then a top tier one. I can't remember what it's called, probably major. These are also going to stack your luck as well. A mining logging trophy is the equivalent of 500 luck points. The basic one is 1000 and a major one is 1500. So imagine you have 3 major logging trophies in 3 of your houses. That's a huge amount of luck that is going to be generated to you anyway. But why are we focusing on all this luck? What does it actually do? What does it give us? Well, I'll throw a little graphic up on screen now so you guys can see. When you're chopping down the young trees, the mature trees, weirdwood trees, or even the ironwood trees once you've leveled your logging up, there's a bunch of goodies you might not have come across so far. Everybody's you know, gathering their green wood, their aged wood, their weird wood, and maybe even the iron wood. But look at all of the rarer materials that you can pick up. Things like petrified wood, whisper wood, quill bark, ebon bark, and eventually, of course, the wildwood and barb vine. Now, these materials, most people don't realise the value of them yet, simply because people haven't leveled up and haven't seen much of a necessity for them. The petrified wood and the whisper wood, for example, go into many mid-tier bows, primarily. Bows tend to use this a lot, I've noticed. The quill bark and the ebon bark go into sort of level 50 plus weapons. And then, of course, the wildwood and the barb vine are most commonly going to be used in the legendary bows that people are going to want to craft once they hit level 60 and start min-maxing their gear for endgame. Additionally, there's the saps that you can get. These saps are going to give crafters the ability to pick certain perks on their gear, and as you can see, a lot of them link back to logging in the first place. Ones to note, we have the drop of sap, which gives the lumberjack's burden perk, which goes onto your bags to reduce the weight of your logging stuff. You also have the vial of sap, which gives you that reinforced logging luck, which is what we have on our gear. Obviously, we've had to pick up some lumberjack gear to begin with, but if you can just put this reinforced logging luck on any piece of gear when crafting it, it opens up the possibilities for some higher level crafted gear, maybe with better stats on it for you than just flat constitution. But you can see that the bits and pieces you can get from this can be quite powerful, but it's not really so useful to you just sort of talking about this. Let me go do half an hour's worth of logging so you can see exactly what you should expect to get roughly if you go out and do this yourself. Right then, so I've popped out to one of my favourite little lumber farming locations, mainly because it's a little bit out of the way, but it does have these weird wood trees. Now I've waited for a few of them to respawn. There's still a couple that I'm waiting for, but this is where we can pop our food buff. We can get ourselves up and running, and then we can run around and do 30 minutes worth of farming. So let's use this and be on our choppy chop way. Alrighty then, boys and girls. Right, well, there we go. There was our half an hour of logging, and as you can see, we have pretty much desecrated the entire area. There is hardly any trees in sight. There are a couple respawning. But let's take a little bit of a look at what we achieved then. Now, this was not the most successful half an hour that I've had doing this, but I did get a couple of good things to take note of. For reference, by the way, if you're wondering why I have no aged wood, it's because there's nearly an infinite supply of cheap aged wood on the trading post, so I tend to just scrap it for now. I fill my bags with the green wood and I fill my bags with the weird wood where possible. But you might notice this tier 3 and this tier 4 fancy little item. We picked up one whisper wood. This is you know, pretty uncommon at the moment, and this thing, the ebon wood, I imagine there's not many of these on the trading post in any city right now. These items are going to be in high demand, I would imagine, as more people level up and they want to start crafting those bigger and better bits of gear. And if you're out there and you're doing your logging and you've stacked up your luck, as we have, you might just come across some of these and make your time gathering that little bit more profitable. I did also pick up a bunch of crafting mods. I got some softwood tree saps. You're going to get these all over the place. Even regular people with just, you know, just a little bit of luck on their logging axe are probably going to find these. One cool thing I did find though was the drought of weirdwood sap. This came off a weirdwood tree and will give a strong attunement to the empowered weapon trait. I'm sure this is probably going to be valuable to somebody. I've not checked, but as you can see, these are a couple of items that if we hadn't stacked all of this luck, we probably wouldn't have got these. Maybe there's a 0.01 chance without too much luck you might come across these, but you've got to go out of your way to put this gear together to even give yourself the chance of getting these. So take what take what you will from that. Maybe go get yourself a set of lumberjack gear, or maybe try and do the same with one of the other gathering professions. I'm probably going to move, once I'm done with logging, I'll probably move over to mining. My mining setup right now is not too bad. My mining skill is 160. Maybe that will come in the next couple of days once I want to get my logging to 175 at least, like I said at the start of this video, just so I can chop down the ironwood and do a little bit of min-maxing. But once logging is done, we'll probably move over to mining, as this is getting pretty close to being able to mine up that Aura outcome in the first place. But anyway, I'll leave it there for today, boys and girls. I hope that was useful to you. If you liked the video, give the video a like. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.